The evening show starts now.
It's episode 2. You're now family. You're now family with us right here on the evening show. Yeah, that's what we're about, And talking family, I got my sisters with me, Rachel Cowie-Clarke in the middle, at the very intentional. I feel like I can use that word every time I thought Melina. You embrace this. Guys, welcome. We're so happy to be here again with you for yet another episode.
And we're happy to be here.
Remember, let your friends know what's happening. You don't want them to miss out. Give them a call. Yes. Send a text. And of course, later on, as promised last week, we're going to be having with us part 2. Yes. Part 2, ladies, of Auntie.
Hazel.
Auntie Hazel. That's what the children call her, right? So listen, we want the people to get to know us a bit more. And I thought it was just fitting that we probably pull what may be our favorite quote, a favorite line, something that really stood out to us, impacted us in some way or the other. What you all have for me? What you all have for the people?
Well, I have words from a song.
You going to sing now?
Listen, let's focus, please.
Is this where we let them know that you have a vocal talent? No, this is not the segment. Okay.
No, this is not it.
As
this
you
is
will.
Not it. So I have a song that has been my anthem for the past couple of weeks. A friend of mine, Renee, introduced me to this group called Maverick City. And one of their songs, Promises, there's a line that says, I put my faith in Jesus, my anchor to the ground, my hope and firm foundation. He'll never let me down. That is so rich to me. So like, despite the uncertainties, despite heavy winds, rain, your foundation, once that is Christ, you're good. Despite what will happen, you will stay anchored, you'll stay firm, you'll stay grounded. And I love that song right now.
I like it. It's really good. And I mean, we've been through so much. We've been through from bad weather to the pandemic, and everyone has their personal situation that they may be going through. So it's really necessary to have that anchor, something that keeps you grounded, something that makes you feel safe.
I find my safety in Christ as well. And no matter what we go through, I would run to a song, a word. And right now, the song that's doing it for me is it says, I love you, Lord. For your mercies never fail.
All my life.
All my days have been held in your hand, and it's just from the moment that I wake up until I lay my head and just think of the
Will you sing? This is not that segment either.
Why she keep pushing this thing? Why is she doing that?
I was looking for the keyboard. I was looking for the keyboard.
Goodness of God.
A whole different entertainment show. For me, though, it has been study to show thyself approved. I can take it from the context of studying, the Word of God, because you want to have something that directs you, something that you have something to look to, or to a place to go back to the same safety, right? And also in terms of as a person, I've taken that in terms of what do I do? What do I do if I'm in a particular field? Is it not the same? Is it not that I study to show myself approved? And I put it to the context of whatever I do it unto God and not unto man. Because that is really where the satisfaction.
That's one of my favorite verses as well.
Yeah. Psychologists would tell you, even on the radio programs, I talk about it, the 3 emotional positions. And I also apply to that in terms of the emotional position where emotionally I may not be able to control how I feel about a particular situation. And sometimes we may not be able to control it based on past experiences. So you have a trigger, right? However, we are all very responsible and
Correct.
can take the responsibility for how we act and
Correct.
for think. And for me, these are just some of the things that I try to govern my life by.
And Mel, you said something there in terms of triggers, and all of us have triggers.
Oh yeah.
In
Oh yeah.
every situation, we have a trigger. Sometimes you people, what happened to you? And the fact is, you didn't even know something happened to you.
Yeah.
But that thing happened, that thing triggered you, and you just went
Yeah.
off on a tantrum that nobody understands. But helping yourself understand yourself when you reflect, it's like, oh, yeah, I really overreacted there. And it's important for us to reflect daily as well.
Yeah.
And take that time to
figure
grow.
out.
Yeah, because that's the thing. When you really start to understand, okay, why do I act this way? Why do I think this way? Then you can know, how do I change these things? Because now
What
you
do I
know
have to do differently?
Yeah.
to do. Of course, you have to be willing to do the work, and as you can't expect change.
I told somebody one time, I say, when you ask God to help you to improve, say, Lord, show me one thing at a time, please.
Yeah, the specific prayers. Yeah, certain things you need to know how to word those things. Like, don't go and ask God for patience. You don't do them things. Don't do that.
Now, ladies, we want to just take a short intermission, and there is a company, Caribbean Baby. It is a company that provide fun, familiar books and toys for kids living in the Caribbean. Yeah, it's all about the Caribbean and local right here, right? And Caribbean heritage. You can go look for the books. You can look for them online, look for them on Instagram. From babies and toddlers to early readers, Caribbean Baby wants to encourage pride in the Caribbean culture with all local content. So take a look at this. So much more for you right here on the evening show. Don't go anywhere.
Yeah, trip us out. All going south.
Hi, we're here with Caribbean Baby Product, a brand that is all about celebrating national pride and culture of Trinidad and Tobago. Today we're here promoting the new Maxi Taxi plush toy. Good afternoon, sir. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, a little nervous, but I'm fine.
That's all right. Nerves is fine. I'll help. So I'm going to ask you a few questions, and if you answer them correctly, you have the chance of winning one of these very fun, cute toys that makes the Maxi Taxi sound. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Can you tell me the route of the red van Maxi Taxi?
No.
Port of Spain City Gate to the east side. I think it goes as far as Sandy Grande.
Port of Spain Tarima.
Port of Spain, Sandy Grande.
The route of the green van Maxi Taxi.
Oh.
North to south.
Sando to Chaguanas.
From San Fernando to Port of Spain.
Can you tell me the route of the yellow van Maxi Taxi?
Yellow Band Maxi, that's from Port of Spain also. And that goes to the west side.
Port of Spain to where?
Chagaramas.
All right. That's one there. Okay. Can you name where the blue van Maxi Taxi goes?
Mayaro.
You want to try again?
Tobago.
Blue Band Maxi, I think that's Tobago.
Tobago.
Right. Excellent. And just to seal the deal, right? Can you do your best impression of a Maxi Taxi conductor for me?
Shot.
San Fernando.
See, we ready to go. We ready to dance. Let me go.
Port of Spain Chaguanas.
Yeah, trip us out. All going south.
Thank you so much. And you have definitely won one of our Maxi Taxi plush toys.
Hey guys, welcome back. The evening show, episode 2, and we are growing. We are growing stronger in numbers and in our family members. Yeah, that's what we call all of you that have taken the time. Yeah, they're family, just as we are. We are. Yeah, okay. It's not as I was sure. Oh. So, ladies, listen. We wanna address some things. We wanna address prioritizing life in general and how important it is for us to have a plan, even if you're going into business, a plan for your life.
Yeah.
Because it's important as well, and we can tie into that setting a goal. Now,
Yeah.
we always, many of us tie that in with specific to business, have a mission statement, have a goal, but it's also important to do it, I think, for yourself. What is
Yeah.
the mission statement for yourself, for you? I'm not talking
Yeah.
about your husband, I'm not talking about you and your children. For you, what is your mission statement? What is your goal? What is your plan? Of course, this can all involve family members, involve
Yeah.
many things, but let's address that. How important is it to have that, to have a good quality of life? And I don't mean a good quality in terms of finances at all,
Yeah.
because that does not really speak to quality. We're talking about from your mental health to your physical health.
Mm.
Yeah, Melina, I know you're the best person to address it.
So for me, a plan is so important. I host vision board parties coming down to the end of the year. And the theme for those parties will usually be write the vision and make it plain so that those who see it will run with it. And it's not really for other people to see it and run with it. It's for you. When you look at it every day and you see, okay, these are the things that I had written down for me to accomplish for the entire year, whether it be for the week or this month, you would be the one going after it. It takes time. It takes sitting with yourself sometimes, just going through, what do I like? What do I enjoy? What am I good at? What draws me? What really puts a hook inside of my core that makes me feel like I can't do nothing else but this. And if I have to do it for free, I'll do it. And so it encourages you to be, and I say it all the time, to be intentional. So you have no choice but to write things. I always have a book. Writing things down. Okay, this is what I want to do. This is what I want my family to look like. This is what, because of how I grew up, I just always had in my mind what my family will be and what it will not be.
Right.
And so you generate over time a list. Sometimes it's so mental that even if you don't write it down, you just know it. This is what I want for my business. This is what I want for my marriage. This is what I want for my home. I always say my home is my oasis, and I wanted it as a child. From like about 11, my mother would tell you, I knew what I wanted home to be like. And so you know what you're looking for, you know what you're working towards. And it's so, you have to be so focused. Yeah. Because if you don't have a plan, then somebody will come and say, oh, you know what, I need you to do so and so, and you will run this way because you don't really have your list of things to accomplish.
And you know, the thing about it is when you have that vision and that plan for your life, it's so easy to say no. Somebody comes to you and suggests something, they're like, Rachel, what about taking part in this? What about doing this? You know exactly where you're going, and you say, well, no, I can't. But Rachel, you're good at that. I was like, yeah, I know, but right now in this season of my life, that is not where my time is going to be spent. You know,
and in terms of season, because it's very important for us to know what season am I in now.
Yes.
What else? What can I hold right now? Am I in too much in my plate? Am I holding too
right
priority?
To make sure we're doing what we're supposed to do in the right season, you know, and so we wouldn't have to be stuck in a cycle trying to learn something over and over and over because we didn't plant last season. So now this season we wonder, but why not reaping this?
I had no planting. I had no breadfruit. Did you plant?
We didn't plant. So then you go back into okay, I'll plant next time.
Yeah.
Then you come back.
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to plant, you know, stuck in the season, you're going back again.
Being busy. Busy.
Yeah, you're busy.
Yes.
I call it busy work. You're doing busy work instead of the purposeful work.
Correct.
Right? And we have to really, we have a kindred spirit when it comes to that. You have to be intentional.
Yeah.
Put on the pencil. You have to be intentional.
There are many who they may not have a plan, or even ladies, even the fact that some may say, I have no purpose.
Yeah.
I am just here. Some may say, hey, that's pretty sad. And in its season, it is not. It's a place where you can now be worked on. And so I just want to say to whoever is out there, I know so many of you are looking on, if that's the place that you're in right now, that's fine. As long as you have a plan.
And
Yeah.
sometimes you need to get like a mentor as well. You know,
Oh,
find
Yes.
yeah. It's
because sometimes we're so afraid to talk to people to let them know what's really going on.
And listen, being human means also that we need each other.
Yeah.
And we shy away from that so much. I need you. You have strengths that I don't have.
Yeah.
I have
And you have
strengths that you
strengths
don't
that
have.
yeah. Just one more thing with respect to the visioning and stuff.
Sure, yeah.
And busy work. You know, sometimes we doing stuff as we were saying earlier, and not all movement is progress. Right? So being intentional about the movements that you're making.
Yeah.
Because not all movements equate.
Yeah, because sometimes you could just be going around the same mountain and you think you're getting somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, think about a merry-go-round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You feel like you're there long, but guess what? You're just like a hamster on a wheel.
So
Right?
here are some people that are intentional with their life and with their progress, and maybe an encouragement to many. Here's our Leaving a Legacy segment. Keep it locked.
I often tell people if I could curry ice and eat it, I will, because I love curry. Hi, my name is Dr. Joseanne Cudjoe, and my PhD is in Media and Communications. My research mostly focuses on the ways in which women of color use non-traditional media platforms, particularly social media, to recreate and retell narratives about their lives and about their bodies. I'm most passionate about thinking about the ways in which these women empower themselves and other women of color by redefining the scripts that we typically see of women of color in traditional media. To complete my PhD, I went to Rutgers University, which is the State University of New Jersey. And prior to that, I completed my master's at Florida International University and my bachelor's at Weber International University. Now, I've often been asked why I pursued this type of study and this career field. I think back from when I was very young, and I remember looking at television shows and wondering why there were not as many people that looked like me on any of them. And when they did appear, they were usually really laced in stereotypes. Why is it that when we do see women of color, they are always placed in these very close-minded ideas, and we don't get a very holistic or a complex understanding of women of color from the images that we consume? And I think because media saturates our society, it's critically important the types of messages that we share in the media. And before I even had the language or the understanding that one day I could actually engage with these questions for a living, these were things that constantly were in my mind and would trigger questions for me. Things that I would tell someone who's in pursuit of a PhD is definitely seek out a mentor who's gone the way before. Because I think instead of trying to reinvent the wheel, depending on someone who has charted that course before can be beneficial, particularly for first generation people, first generation scholars or students of any type who are pursuing something that no one in their family has pursued before, to understand that there are always hidden gems and hidden information along the way that you may not be privy to because no one in your family has done that before. So seeking out people who have done that is important. It's similar to like if you are launching a business. If no one in your family has owned a business before, you should seek out other people who have owned a business before and find out what are those hidden stories and narratives, hidden gems that you should be looking out for. You know, over the years, I've had some great mentors who have given me some great advice. And some of the best advice I've ever received came from my father, who said to me that no matter what I pursue in life, it should definitely bring about betterment for society. It's very humbling to think about how do you serve society versus thinking about your accomplishment as just being yours, right? And understanding that whatever we accomplish in life should be in service of others. When I think about my life, you know, people who have motivated me, people who are part of my support team have allowed me to be successful. You know, my family, who have been my spiritual covering, who have prayed and nurtured me, who've been there through the ups and downs, are so important for me. But I've been blessed to have an amazing pastor. I've also been blessed to have, you know, members of my church who I can depend on, who can share words of positivity in my life, who can pray for me. I think, culturally we are people who say, oh, Gail, I will pray for you. We say things like that, but do we actually pray? In March, as the cases of COVID-19 started escalating in New Jersey and New York, I decided the best thing for me was to return home. I had not yet defended my dissertation, which is the last step towards my PhD journey. So I came home with some uncertainty that I didn't know when I would be able to finish this journey that I'd been on for such a long time. But thankfully, my university went all virtual, and I was able to defend from my home via Zoom. In April, I was featured in Forbes magazine alongside 21 other women who had shared my experience, and we discussed what it meant to defend a dissertation in the midst of the global pandemic, and what it meant to have some joy in the time of great sadness. Earning my PhD is my greatest professional accomplishment thus far, but I think even beyond that, the experiences I've had as a professor, I would rank that within my great accomplishments as well. I always say that because I teach about race and gender and I teach about social justice, I want what I teach to impact people's life in and outside of the classroom. When I think about my own legacy and the type of legacy I would want to leave, particularly as somebody who's particularly focused on questions of social justice and it's always about bringing equality and equity into society, the type of legacy I would like to leave is that I have been a person who's given the best that she has towards making this world a bit fairer for everyone, and about breaking down barriers and installing new structures that will allow everyone to have an even footage. And of course, this is not an easy feat. And of course, I can't accomplish this by myself, and I don't pretend that I can. But if I can contribute to others who are doing that type of work, who are fearlessly calling out inaccurate structures in our society, and are naming things as injustice and oppression, someone who have seen that her work could contribute to society in a larger way and in a more meaningful way than just being something that I enjoy or something that brings me pleasure. If it could bring to the world something positive, I would be extremely happy for that to be a part of it.
This week on The Evening Show, the conclusion of our two-part series with John Maxwell coach, Mrs. Hazel Manning.
Now, Mrs. Manning, we are in the middle of a pandemic that's happening across the world. And what has your experience been like, though, during this COVID season that we've been experiencing here in Trinidad?
COVID has been really very good to me. And in a strange way, and I'll tell you why. I became very still.
Mm-hmm.
I read a lot. I did a lot of work that I wanted to do and couldn't do before. Mm-hmm. I spent the time doing it. I even took an exam online. Mm-hmm. And it really has been, because of how still it was, made me go deep.
Right.
Deep with my God, deep with my work, what I had to do, and really rejuvenated me. So COVID has been very good to me.
Yeah. And it's not strange that you're saying that, because I've heard many, many people say there are so many positives that came out of it. They now know their families. I had an interview about a week ago, and one of the guys said, I got to know my children. I had no idea the boys were like this or the girls were like this. But there's the negative, whereas for some who may have had whatever unresolved issues or things that they, I dare use the term, are afraid of dealing with. Now it became a sort of a prison for them, or a sentence. And so, it's a mix. But for many, I have been here, and it's such a wonderful time, specifically that it's helping people to now understand and prioritize life differently.
That's quite true. All the materialism just disappeared.
Yeah.
You didn't need all the clothes. You didn't need so it's how do I give back? And sometimes, you do your hampers, you give out. I called people, just how are you going? Just checking in. And there was a whole list of things that you can do during COVID time. Mm-hmm. And there was one that said, there are small businesses that are suffering. And I had 2 chairs, wondering whether I should throw them out, and deliberately looked for someone to do the upholstering, just to be able to help a small business. And I actually went through the list and, gave people stuff, called people, and then started to support businesses because I was paying less for gas, less going out, and there was a
cost savings.
Some cost savings that I said, let me look for a small businessman, and I actually did that.
That's amazing.
Yeah. What advice would you give to someone in such a situation to go forward, or to know that you can achieve more, you can be greater, you can do?
My advice is to know your purpose.
Yes.
I get a clear sense of who you are and what you really want to do. Because if you're sure that this is what I want to do, this is who I am, and this is what I want to do, you're on good grounds.
Yeah.
I keep telling people there's so many things online. There are online assessment forms that give you a clear sense of what your personal vision is, your personal mission is. Just to sit down and work out, what do I want to be? What do I want to do? If you understand what your purpose is, your why is, you can then decide that this is where I want to go and this is what I want to do. And the minute you're clear what your journey is, it means that whatever is coming to you from whatever side is coming to you from, it would be, you can then meet it. You can then move forward. There's a guy called Viktor Frankl, who was a doctor, a psychiatrist during the Second World War. He was in the concentration camp. And he saw people who survived. Many people died during that time. And he saw people who survived, and he was wondering, how come? How did they survive in this horrendous environment? And he discovered that it's because they had a why. They knew what their purpose would have been. They knew what they wanted to do. They knew their why. Why do I want to continue living? And because that why existed, they had their journey mapped out and clear, heading to somewhere. But if you don't know and you're confused, people pull you in all directions.
That is so true.
It's difficult for you to survive sometimes.
What would you say for you are some of the things that have motivated you personally over the years to be the best you that you can be?
My passion has always been my family, my children, to make sure that they're able to identify who they are and release their potential. That's always been my passion, even my support of my husband. And then you understand that that's where you go, how you support, how you move forward. And people ask, how do you know that's your passion? And I keep saying, anything that makes you laugh and cry and feel sad and feel happy, that's your passion. If whatever it is, the things that you would die for, and sometimes that's your natural gift that God would give you. If you could identify what that natural talent is and don't bury it, be able to develop it and move forward, that life would become much more pleasant.
Yeah, that is so amazing. I mean, over the past about 2 months or so, I've just been so focused on being purposeful rather than being busy, because from time to time I think we mix up the two. We think that if we're busy doing a lot of stuff and we're doing a lot of things, then we're being productive, but it doesn't really add anything to you if it's not in alignment with your God-given purpose or your destiny in life. And COVID, as we were talking about COVID earlier, I just find that COVID, like, because you had the opportunity to be still for so long, you didn't have to, it wasn't no hustle and bustle to go anywhere. So you had time to think, you had time to spend with yourself and so on. So you had time to discover, this is what I really like. This is what I really want to do. This is what I really want. These are the things I want to be a part of. These are the things I want to be involved in. And so, like you said, nobody would be pulling your hair there and everywhere, because your vision is so tunneled that everything outside of this clear view is distractions. And so I'm not going to get involved in anything else but the things that are right before me in line with that pigeonhole bullseye thing that I'm heading towards. So it's so amazing to hear you.
You can come out every now and then to see what's happening. You have to be aware of the environment.
Yes.
But then you know that this is not a journey I want to do. And then you go back to your, you have your plans to follow. And this is not going to distract me at this point in time. And then you continue on your journey. But that doesn't mean to say that you're not aware of what your environment is.
Yeah.
Yes.
You have to be aware.
Yes.
Or you get trampled. So you have to be aware. But you know that I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do this. I'm going to, and you feel very confident in your journey. This is what I want. This is what I'm passionate about. This is what I really want to do. And not what John wants me to do or Peter wants me to do.
And in terms of advice, what would you say would have been the best advice you've ever been given? And on the other end, the best advice you have ever given to someone?
The best advice that I would ever, maybe from my mother, just never give up, never give up. My mother was one of those mothers that just, stuck with it and stuck with you. And she would advise that. And maybe advice that I would have given to others, again, would come from my mother. She had a saying that when you point one finger, 3 fingers point back at you.
Right.
And I go to 1 point forward, and some people tell me even 4 point back at you. So that when you're blaming others, whatever the reason is, there are 3 fingers that say, "Hey, check yourself."
Yes.
Now I just want to change a bit in terms of the direction, and I want to pull from you in terms of leadership. Of course, it's something that you're a coach. You talk with so many in terms of, and you mentioned to me there's a difference between a manager and a leader. I don't know if you can give us some more juice on that.
According to the behavioral scientists and the literature, speaks about the manager being like, and the reference I give is the accountant. That the revenue would come in and then the expenditure. And the manager's job is to make sure that there's a balance. There's what comes in or what goes out. You make sure that things don't get ridiculously out of hand.
Yeah.
The leader, on the other hand, looks at personal development. The leader targets people. And the definition of leadership, the Maxwell's definition of leadership is influence. Nothing more, nothing less. So the leader targets people to ensure that people are then able to grow and to influence at the end of the day. So a leader influences, has a vision, has a mission, has a journey, going places, and people following. A manager just maintains that make sure it's stable, make sure that life is okay. Therein lies the difference. And there have been fantastic leaders throughout the world. I do a lot of reading on biographies. I'm doing a lot of biographies these days. They are good leaders, and they are great leaders, and there are leaders that are not so good. There's Hitler, who's been a fantastic leader, but on the other side, so that they're able to influence.
Yeah.
And there are a number of leaders you could identify who have visions, who have missions, and who are influencing people to follow them.
And even right home here, we've had our very own Dr. Eric Williams, and
we've had fantastic leaders in the Caribbean. And Dr. Williams is one. And if you read the literature, it guides you as to their thinking and the impact that they have made on Trinidad and Tobago in this instance, and the growth and development of the country.
Yeah. Now, Rachel, I know you had a really cool, interesting. You know I was going to pull it from you, right?
Okay. Well, what happened is I was reading some stuff about him and listening to a biography about Dr. Eric Williams. And they spoke about his early childhood and growing up and going to QRC, getting his scholarships, etc. And they said that he actually was an avid football player as well, and was an injury that he got during a football game that caused him to lose some of his hearing. But the fun fact about it was that he said that he actually used it to his advantage. sometimes when he didn't hear something, even in Parliament. So I thought it was so funny. I was like, I wonder if that really, how often he actually did that, but sometimes, we could cry, woe is me, or we could say, no, this is me, and this is how I'm going to deal with it. Take charge.
Take what you've given. Make what they say, juice out of lime.
Yes, if life gives you lemons, make lemon juice.
Mel, I know you had some special
Yes.
questions you wanted to direct to Mrs. Manning.
So I wanted to know, I know you spoke just now about leadership and the difference between leadership, between a leader and a manager. I wanted to know, what is your code of conduct in terms of when nobody else is looking? Because I know in terms of being a leader, it requires you to be disciplined. And disciplined in the sense of being able to carry out the tasks, do due diligence, even though there's not somebody looking over you. What is your code of conduct?
I'm a person of faith, so that even though man isn't looking, I have a sense that God is looking.
Correct. Yes.
So that I don't take it for granted that I would get away with anything. There's someone looking, surely.
Yes.
But one of the things I look at is the value system, and I always try to, where leadership is concerned, try to identify the values of the person who's leading. What are your values? And if I can understand your core values, I have a clear sense of where you're at. Integrity, honesty, love, caring. If those are your values, fun, fair play, if those are your values, you have that sense that things would go well. If your values are not those, you have no values at all,
yeah,
you know be in trouble. And it would be surprised you to know that there are some people who don't think values.
Yes, yes.
When we do workshops with companies, and you ask the values, and sometimes they don't know the values, and even if they do it, they list your whole number: respect and integrity and honesty, and but when they sit to chat, they fight with each other, they cuss each other, and we have to keep bringing them back to the value. But your values, your company's values, your personal values.
Yeah.
Talk to respect, talk to honesty. But when you sit to discuss and do whatever, you just don't see those things. And those things have to be part of your relationship.
Yeah.
And same you talk to about family life. You have to follow those codes, those values, those morals, some people call them, so that you have a roadmap by which to follow to journey on.
And that as you say that, Mrs. Manning, it reminds me of our very own, if someone doesn't have one of their own, our very own watchwords here in Trinidad and Tobago: discipline, production, and tolerance. 3 words that I think if we look within ourselves and ask, how am I disciplined? And you put it to the respective areas. How am I disciplined when it comes to my faith? How am I disciplined when it comes to maybe the way I deal with certain situations, maybe to business, production? As Melina was saying earlier on, you can be busy doing so much, but yet you could not be productive.
Those are the values that Eric Williams gave the nation. Eric Williams had a vision for us.
Yes.
Eric Williams was taking us out of colonialism into self-development.
Yeah.
And he spoke a lot about those 3 watchwords. He spoke about democracy.
Yes.
He wanted us to be a democratic country where we would at least be freedom. Freedom to speak, freedom to work, to be able to progress and make ourselves and the country really very good. He thought that we were great enough to be placed on the world stage. And therefore he wrote with that in mind, and that respect and that development, approach to development. And those were the values: discipline, tolerance, and production. And how do we as a country take those 3 values and live?
Yes.
Are we disciplined enough in what we do? Are we forgetting what our values are? Are we productive enough? Are we tolerant of each other?
Yes.
And those are serious values that I think we have to now go back at them, look at them, and find a way to make sure that our younger ones, the next generation, even we ourselves, understand them, follow them, and pass them on, as you talk about a legacy. Pass on that legacy to our younger ones. Productivity is a great issue in Trinidad, and our productivity is so low that the international agencies are concerned about us. If only, and the sad thing is that sometimes we go abroad and we work much harder than we do.
Yes.
If only we could improve that productivity here at home, it would make us even more productive than we are. Our tolerance of the diversity, we're different. We're different, whether it is our skin color or hair. We are different, and we all have to live here. This is a country that has produced the Dojo, which is a significant, over 20% of our population is mixed, and that figure grows by 2% or more a year. And that says something. How then do we bring that tolerance to play and understand and accept the fact that we are different and that we can live together? I remember when Chogam was here, I remember some of the leaders saying to Mr. Manning at that point in time, how have you been able to get your cultures together? How have you been able, when they saw the performances, how have you been able to bring the races together to dance on the same stage? And they were saying, in my country, which is all those Commonwealth countries are very similar to Trinidad, same history, same importation of labor, same kind of history. And they're saying, we can't get our people to do that. As much as we complain and we fret, there are other countries where the races wouldn't even talk to each other. So that, yes, we're there, but we could be much better. Because there are some countries that are worse than we are. When I listen to the story of Black Lives Matter, we haven't gone through the history of what the black man in America has gone through. At least Trinidad hasn't. There are one or two islands, maybe Barbados and Jamaica, that would have had plantation economies. But we haven't had a plantation economy in Trinidad. So that kind of deep insult to humanity never took place on Trinidad. By the time slavery got itself established here, it was coming to an end. So, when you read about what has taken place with Black lives in America, I've been to the museum in Washington. It's the most sad exhibition, It's really sad. I know that we are going to make it. I know that post-COVID is going to be really, very difficult. And we've got to come together to be able to move forward. And we can only do that if we genuinely hold hands. With a common vision to make Trinidad and Tobago a better place.
Definitely. Well said. Well said. Ladies, must we go? Must we leave her? Must we leave her?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for all of your gems, for all of your nuggets. I have my book. They're highlighted areas. Thank you.
Thank you very
much. Hopefully, we'll have you back another time to share more with us.
Thank you very, very much for having me.
Hey guys, thank you so much for viewing our second episode. Listen, you can look forward for so much more. Gotta say thanks to our special guests. They're very beautiful, the elegant, the graceful. Y'all have any other descriptive words to add for Mrs.
Hazel?
Hazel Manning. Thank you so much for your time, and we feel so much more empowered.
You dropped some nuggets. You did drop some nuggets for us. Self-governance is just one of them.
Just pretty insightful.
Very. And she's all about people. Isn't that just it ties in so perfectly? Anyhow, guys, be sure to subscribe, be sure to like, be sure to follow, be sure to view August 16th, our third episode. Wow, I'm still on 2. We're 3, our third episode. Mel Cudjoe saying bye for now. Thank you so much to my co-host, Rachel Cowie-Clarke, Melina de Silva. The evening show. We're out.